Okay, guys, we are live. In 2 minutes, we're going to start our lesson. I hope we will have enough time to finish all the topics, to discuss all topics I've planned. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down. Sooner or later, I'm going to comment them. I'm going to answer them. But I might be answering them a bit later than you have written because, you know, the broadcasting, I see your posts 1 or 2 minutes later than you posted. Hello, Azire. Must be our first or second student who dialed in. In a minute, we're starting. Please get your notebooks ready. You might want to, you know, take photos or take little notes aside. I have my notebook ready here too. Okay, guys, there are some students who been asking for the link. The problem is that I was quite afraid to enter a YouTube channel from my computer because if I have my YouTube channel open and my StreamYard tab open, my sound might get echoed again. So I didn't dare opening my YouTube studio today. But there are some students who have sent you the link, so welcome. Karina, hello, nice to hear from you. I hope you had a nice summer. Summer 2020 was something. I personally didn't get to go out anywhere. It was some sort of a staycation for me. Batima, hello. Batima, I don't recall your name. Are you a new student, Batima? And what grade are you? All right, guys, it's 16:31. I think we should get going. I'm going to do it this way and then share my presentation. Let me know if you can or cannot see this presentation. Oh, it's too small. Momentala is here, then we can start. Okay. Okay. 2 students said they can see, but it's small. Yeah, I know. What I'm going to do is close my own camera so that all you see will be this presentation and some other screens I'm going to present you. What if I'm 9 and I already did this book? Yes, Karina and all 9th graders, I am starting to present first certificate language masterclass for 8th graders. And then we will start proficiency masterclass. The thing is that 8th graders are newbies, and I just wanted to introduce them the way of self-studying and how to deal with, some organizational tips. That's why I'm starting with 8th grader book. and then we switch to Proficiency Masterclass. Now, if I put it this way, you're not going to see me, but you don't really have to. You will see this presentation. Okay, this book is part of 8th graders program. And what I'd like you to do is to look at this yellow list. When it comes to doing self-study, when it comes to self-study, yeah, I'm going to show you something here. We need to come up with some routine habits. So imagine you've opened this book. First thing we do is to scroll down and see the whole unit. See from the beginning till the end, all exercises. See how this book is structured and what exactly is expected of you. As you know, masterclass books have students' book, workbooks. It's not a self-study book really, it's more of a classroom instruction book. And some exercises directed to discussions within the classroom will not be applicable when you self-study. So some exercises should be, some exercises should be, where's that book? Yeah. Can you see the entire screen of first unit? I hope you do. I'm going to check it back. Namiatullah, I will be sending you this book. Okay, if you couldn't download it from the link, well, fine, I'll send you the book, but later. Okay, if you can see this book, this is what I do. As you can see, the first introductional 2 exercises are usually classroom directed. And these exercises can be done if you are sitting in a group and starting a discussion with other mates. But in your cases, you are self-studying. That's why I recommend skip those exercises and go on doing specific writing exercises. So first thing we do is we go here, read this little extract over here, and then we read the main text. After you've read the main text, we have multiple choice questions, only 5 questions to do. But the thing is that instruction says that you'd have to read this text first, then go to multiple choice questions, read the questions and options, and then go back to text and read it for the second time. This reading drill is actually quite good for you because first time you read, you are going to read it for just to get the main idea of the text. You are not going to dive into details. But after you've read the questions and options you're about to deal with, you can read the text again, but in a more detailed version. So when you read the text for the second time, you already have questions at the back of your mind, in the back of your mind, and you know that you are supposed to answer to them, find answers from the text. So this drill is good. You'd have to read for gist, and then there's a detailed reading. Do that. We're not going to do it right now because this is just an instructional phase. After this lesson finishes, you allocate your time and you do your own self-study when you do that. I did my self-study too. It took me about hour and a half to do this unit, and I am going to show you later. Um, I'm going to show you my notebook. How do I organize my exercises, vocabulary, some notes? How do I check my answer key, and so on. So, okay, first thing you do is to do the reading. Second, we've got group nouns. Here we have only one little exercise for you to get the idea what are the group nouns. And I want you not to, I don't want you to confuse group nouns with collective nouns. Group nouns are the words like family, audience, class, crowd, jury, staff, team. It looks like a one singular noun, say team, one team, but it represents many, many people. Army, one army representing a whole lot of people. See, group nouns is when you have one word, it looks like a singular noun representing a lot more people. Collective noun is when you have this a something of something structure. So you can say a deck of cards, a crowd of communists, I don't know, a flock of birds, or a school of dolphins. Those are collective nouns. Okay, we go on to the next part, grammar and practice. As you can see, the main topic of Unit 1 FC Masterclass is the future tense, all types of future tenses. And here, before we even start exercise 1, 2, 3, we can go straight to grammar reference, page 174. To do that, there is one page allocated to explaining you what are the future tenses. You can read that on your own time. Right now, I'm going to explain it in my own words. So I want you to pay attention to this table. Future tenses are not only future simple, future continuous, future perfect. Those are fine. We have those three main future tenses. But apart from those three, we also have present simple, present continuous, and be going to. These three tenses can also be grouped as the future tenses. Why so? Pay attention to future simple first. Future simple, I mean anything that goes with modal verb will, is used in three main situations. If you are predicting something, just your subjective prediction, like I think it will rain tomorrow. Your subjective prediction. You can be deciding something right at this moment, like someone is calling and you say, okay, I'll take it. And you're taking the phone. Or someone is knocking the door and you decide to open it and you say, okay, I'll open it. So these decisions that you have made right now usually are explained in future simple tense, will do something. For example, if I have just decided to apply to Harvard, I say, I will apply to Harvard. That's my instant decision. That's a decision I made just now, seconds ago. And future simple is used in promises. Usually promises refer to future, right? To your future actions. And that's the natural way of using future simple, basically. Promises. When you want to promise doing or not doing something, you say, I will. Like, I will always ask your opinion, or I will never be late again. That's a promise. Now, when it comes to the next step, we can think of be going to. Be going to is also one part of future tense, one component of future tenses. We use be going to when we want to talk about our intentions, our plans. If that plan is freshly made, you are going to use be going to. For example, he is going to apply to Harvard. So it's not a decision that you've made seconds ago, it's a plan. Plan is usually when you have been thinking about it for a while, it has been cooking in your mind for a while, but you still haven't done anything particular to come up with some results. So this is just in a plan period. And we use present continuous when we are talking about fixed arrangements. Now, in this case, you can say, I am applying to Harvard, but you will have to give some time expression here because I don't want to confuse present continuous at the moment and present continuous future. So in order not to confuse these two sentences, you have to give time expression with present continuous future. In this case, I am applying to Harvard this year. You have to add this year to imply that you're talking about future. If you take away this year and put a full stop after Harvard, it's just going to be at the moment action. You would be describing at the moment action, and this present continuous wouldn't be a part of future tenses. Okay? So if you want to talk about fixed arrangements in the future, you can use present continuous if you apply some time expression expressing the future. For example, they are visiting my parents next week. So this next week is inevitable. I mean, it has to be there. It's indispensable, right? If you take away this next week word and put a full stop after my parents, they are visiting my parents will turn into a usual boring present continuous. See? So time expression is a must here. Okay, now why did I line these three tenses in one slide? The thing is that in English language, we have this period of having something decided, planning on that thing, and then arranging that thing. So imagine I've decided to travel to Paris. I usually give that example a lot. So I've decided to travel to Paris seconds ago. What do I say? I say, I will travel to Paris. Because that's my instant decision, something I have just decided to do. In a week's time, I have this plan in my mind, and I will be telling everyone that I am going to travel to Paris. So in this case, I use present. Be going to. It's not present continuous. It's be going to. I am going to travel because it's still in a planning period. But what happens? How do I step into the next period, arranging period? Things happen this way. I go on planning and telling everyone that I'm going to travel to Paris. But after I have bought the tickets, I have booked a hotel, I have arranged my schedule according to French time. After I have done all those pre-arrangements, I speak, I am traveling to Paris next week. Let's say next week. If I've already bought the ticket, so I know exactly when I'm traveling. In this case, this arrangement turns into its third stage. And I already speak present continuous in this case. So in English language, planning can be divided into 3 stages. See, you have decided something, you are planning something, but haven't taken exact steps towards that plan. But after you've taken those exact steps towards your plan, it turns into some arrangement, something that is arranged for you in the future. In this case, you use present continuous with time expression, of course. What about our next, other tenses? We have future continuous and future perfects left. Future continuous is quite similar to all other continuous tenses, present continuous or past continuous, as we will be talking about prolonged action, some event or action going on for a period of time, but that period is in the future. That's it to it. For example, next month we will be celebrating New Year's Eve. Will you be staying with us? So New Year's Eve celebration is taken as a long period, and I am referring to that period as to the future. What is future perfect? That's kind of opposite of future continuous, as we are talking about some action, but we will refer to this action in the future as if it has already finished. I know, it's quite confusing. Look at the example. By September, you will have taken IELTS. So this action hasn't yet happened. It's the future. But when you give some time expression, in this case, by September, you imagine that it's September already, and then you imagine that your IELTS has already been taken. Future continuous is used quite rarely, but it's good to know about it. In both these cases, you have to bear in mind that time expression is a must. You have to give some time expression. Usually it's about next, coming, future something, or by some time. That's it about future tenses. Let's go back to our book. After you've listened about future tenses from me, if you didn't understand some things, you go to grammar reference, read through the rules. If you didn't really get grammar, the future tenses, you go to YouTube and you can watch some other videos. There are plenty of them. And then you do exercises 1, 2, 3. And there's more, 4, 5, 6. You do these 6 exercises, and we move on to a vocabulary section. Vocabulary section is easy, quite easy. We have confusing verbs here. You are probably familiar with these verbs. Lay, lie, lie. You've just learned it in 7th grade, I'm sure of that. But I'm going to give you a little table for that anyway. Most students do. They still confuse these verbs. I want to start with our simple verb, lie, as in saying untruth. This lie is quite simple in its structure, as in present tense, you don't change it much. In present continuous, you know all the verbs that end in ie turns into ing. So lying is written this way. In past simple and past perfect tenses, it is written the same way, lied, lied, lied. So this is about saying untruth, lie. But there's another lie. To sleep. When your body is in its horizontal position, or when you go to sleep, you first lie and then you go to sleep. In this case, this verb turns into irregular because, when it turns into its second past simple, it changes into lay, and present perfect is lain. Okay? And then there's verb lay by itself. Lay as an infinitive means to lay the table, настелить на стол, накрыть на стол. Lay the book on the table means положить книгу на стол. Lay the blanket on the bed, укрыть одеяло на кровать. So lay is basically synonym to put something on something onto something. And lay in its own way is irregular verb too. That's why it's quite confusing. In past tense, it sounds like laid, L-A-I-D, and in present perfect, it sounds like, it doesn't change, L-A-I-D. So these three verbs create some sort of confusion among language learners, second language learners. For me, I have made a little association for myself. Lay, as in to be in a horizontal position, lie, in present perfect is lain. So I just connected these two words, lain and Russian lень, to understand that lain is present perfect for being in a horizontal position. That's how I remember things. You can make up your own associations so that you never confuse these verbs. That's enough about lay, lie, lay. Let's move on. All right, about listening. I'm sure you found in the link I have sent you, there are folders with listening files, and you can listen to exercises here from Masterclass. Exercise 1 is about hearing 5 people talking about bringing up the children. And you just have to match those speakers. Next thing is about phrasal verbs with bring. Then there are more things, new words concerning a formal and informal language. We're coming to that. We have our use of English exercise 1, page 17. And we have some more listening to do. Now, let's talk about speaking and writing sections in Masterclass plus in US FC reading book. These sections are parts of the books I am not going to check. You can do it, and you better check up with your local teacher to see if you're doing it right or not. But I'm afraid I won't be able to check all of your speakings and all of your writings, as we have 200 and more students across Kazakhstan preparing for Olympiads. So it's totally impossible for me to check all of your speakings and writings. So these sections will be ignored by me, but you shouldn't ignore this. You can go on doing these and talk to your own local teacher to check you. So I am moving on. We have the overview exercises, only 3 exercises for overview. Now, this is what we have to do in our This is what we have to do when we do Masterclass books. Again, reminding you, Masterclass has a student book, workbook, and teacher's book. Answer key for student book exercises are in teacher's book, so make sure you check that. Masterclass you don't have to do all exercises, because most exercises are directed, I mean, they are designed for classroom activities. You are doing it as individual study. That's why some exercises can be skipped. Don't feel guilty for that. It's okay. You just skip it and do the written exercises instead, okay? Now I want to show you the, okay, I'll show it this way. Now, as you can see, this is how I did my self-study time. So while I was studying, I'm going to send the photos of these pages to you later. I'll just show it here this way. I write down the name of the book, the unit, and the time I've done that. I've started doing it at noon today, so I write it today. And at the end, after I finish doing the whole exercises of Unit 1, I indicate time I have finished too. This is my own little habit. Anyway, later I go on doing the reading. I do the reading. I read the questions and options of multiple choice exercise, and I read for details again. Then, in this case, in this column, I usually write down new vocabulary, which is new to me, and I write down its definition or a translation in Russian. On the left side, I do the exercises, and by the end of the exercise, I go to answer key and check myself whether I did those exercises correctly or not. And then I'm just moving on and show, as you can see, I am showing this grammar and practice sections. I box them so that they stand out. Writing, when I write the exercise number, I would have to indicate the page number as well, because there are lots of number 1 exercises, and I would have to be more specific which page it is in. Now, future tenses, this is my little note taking about future tenses. And this little note taking will help me to recall all future tenses in later time. All right? When I do vocabulary, again, I write down new vocabulary here on this case, and I write exercises on the other side. Oh, sorry. As you can see, people have different ways of self-study, and note-taking is very important. We will have to learn to take notes effectively so that at the end, after I've written Unit 1, I would be able to repeat all the new information, all the new vocabulary easily, shortly, and very, in a condensed form. When I don't have time to do all exercises, I just give it some time. I didn't do use of English exercise 1, but I did allocate some time to it, some space to it. And later, when I'm ready, I'm going to do it. At the end, we do overview. I did it on the paper. I'm going to rewrite it here. I just want to show you the whole system. When I do the overview, I write down exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3. I count how many total points am I going to get if I did all correctly. So in this overview, there are 15 points, 18 points available. And after I have checked myself, I count my correct answers and write them down here. And then I write down all my mistakes in the end and try to remember them. By the end of this unit, I set the timer for 3-hour time, in 10-hour, and 24 hours. So if I have finished this unit by 1 p.m., I will have to repeat this unit by 4 p.m. this very day. And then I will have to repeat this unit in 10 hours, means at 1 in the morning. No, 11 in the morning. And then I repeat it the third time, the last time, the next day. And I tick these boxes after I've done all these 3 things. After I've done all these 3 steps, I can be very much sure that I know First Certificate Masterclass Unit 1, I have acquired all the information and I won't forget it. Then I go on doing the workbook and check speaking with my classmate, my friend, or my teacher. So that's the system I keep doing. And maybe you are having some other systems going on. Please share about them, whether here or on our Telegram channel. Shoot a little video how you keep your notebooks. And let's share all these life hacks to remember more words, to stay organized, and to declutter our mind of guilty and unnecessary thoughts. All right, now let's move on to our presentation. Formal vs. informal language. I just wanted you to see the difference. Let's say I'm writing to, and just a note to say, these 2 phrases mean similar ideas. One of them is formal, another is informal. Apparently, first is formal, second is informal. And all subsequent phrases go in pairs. I'm sure when you do the masterclass, you will write them down. That's it for 8th grader First Certificate Masterclass. Apart from Masterclass book, as you can see, September 4th week, you will have to do First Certificate Use of English, Unit 1. That's a new book for you too, but it's quite short. And you have to do these little exercises from Grammar and Usage for FCE and Vocabulary for FCE. These are very fun exercises to do. And these books are really easy to do. I mean, they're quick enough. Now, let's move on to 9th graders. 9th graders will have to deal with language practice, Units 1 and 2. This is a new book for you. But you know, first units are usually present tense or past tense thing. We have to continue advanced vocabulary in use next 4 units, units 5, 6, 7, 8. And we do proficiency masterclass. This book is going to be a bit more complicated than before. Proficiency masterclass, again, is a classroom book. It has students and workbooks. And when you do the self-study with this book, you will have to skip some exercises for discussions. What do we do? First thing is that we outline the whole unit. We go through, we scroll down all the exercises and all the activities we have to do in Unit 1 and just check the structure. First, then, you will have to think about what is the main topic I have to learn from this unit. You find that. In this book, it's the relative clauses. Then you go on, you study that topic very deeply. After you've done that, you can go on doing all other subsequent exercises. You write down new phrases, you take notes, you take a big notebook and write down all the exercises you've done. By the end, you check your answers with the answer key and indicate whether they're true or not here. You set the reminder to spaced repetition in 3, 10, in 24 hours. And that's it. That's how we work. Sharing this tab. Eighth graders can leave. Well, basically you could, but I'm going to explain a little neutral topic here, so you better stay a bit. Wait a bit. I am going to explain about clauses. What are clauses? How do you deal with them? Now, in English language, as in other languages, we have some structure in a sentence. Each sentence may have a subject, a verb, an object, adverbial modifier, and attribute. These words might be new to you, but please write them down and remember them. We are going to we're going to work with these terms a lot in the future. What are subjects? Subjects are бастауыш, basically, подлежащее in a sentence. Verb, actually it's not a verb, but a predicate, but verb is shorter. So predicate, баяндауыш, сказуемое in a sentence. In order to make a sentence, the minimal compound is that you have subject and verb. Two of these words can form a legitimate sentence. But other threes are extra. Object, толықтауыш, дополнение in English. Adverbial modifier, пысықтауыш, обстоятельства in a sentence. And attributes are определение, I guess. I forgot the Kazakh word. Бастауыш, баяндауыш, толықтауыш, пысықтауыш, анықтауыш. Attribute is анықтауыш. So if you know Kazakh or Russian linguistic words, you can make yourself familiar with English words. System is the same. So for example, this sentence, my friend took his phone on the table. As you can see, I have matched the colors with the respective attribute. My and his are attributes. Friend is a subject, took is a predicate, a verb, then phone is an object, on the table is an adverbial modifier. Okay? Why am I explaining this to you? Because in English language, as in any other languages, we have simple sentences and we have complex sentences and compound sentences. See, simple sentences are the sentences when we have one subject and one verb. If we have many attributes, many adverbial modifiers, and many objects, it doesn't really count. As long as you have one subject and one verb, it is taken as a simple sentence, right? We have compound sentences when we have two or more subjects and two or more verbs. That's when we have one idea and the second idea, and somehow they are linked. These ideas are called clauses. That's where we come to complex sentences. So what's the difference between compound and complex sentences? Compound sentence is like сложно сочиненное предложение. And complex sentence is like сложно подчиненное предложение. So if you know Russian terms for сложно сочиненное, сложно подчиненное, you will understand the difference between compound and complex sentences as well. In short, compound sentences are sentences that can be divided into two or more simple sentences. A complex sentence is when you have several ideas in one sentence, but you cannot divide them. Otherwise, you will have one simple sentence and many unfinished sentences, incomplete sentences. That's why they're called complex. And we have types of complex sentences. Those are noun sentences, adjective, clause. We call them clauses. When we have two ideas, one of them is main idea, and the other idea is subjunctive. So that's a subjunctive clause called noun clauses, adjective clauses, adverbial and conditional clauses. Now let's see a bit deeper. These dependent clauses, subjunctive clauses, are linked to a main clause with specific pronouns. And here they are. I'm not going to read them all. Today's, ninth grader unit 1 main topic are relative clauses. So I want you to pay attention to the last clause here. Adjective clauses, if you will be preparing in the future for SATs, in American English, we have adjective clauses. In British English, we have relative clauses. Basically, they're the same. So, relative clauses describe a noun or a pronoun in the main clause, and they are linked by pronouns like which, who, that, whom, whose, where, right? These are relative pronouns. Let's see for an example. Pay attention to the very last sentence. Here's the restaurant which I worked in, or here's the restaurant that I worked in. This is a complex sentence with a relative clause. So which part is main clause and which part is relative clause? Here's the restaurant is the main clause. Which I worked in is a relative clause. So if you will try to divide this complex sentence into two, here's the restaurant, full stop, can become an independent, simple sentence. But the rest of the words, which I worked in, they're not able to become a full independent sentence because we don't have a full idea. The idea is incomplete. That's why it's a complex sentence. Our usual phrase, to whom it may concern, you probably have seen this phrase a lot in the documents. To whom it may concern basically is a relative clause in its own way. So these are the relative clauses. If you want to understand what are relative clauses, you just have to, I hope you can see the bigger picture and see that relative clauses, adjective clauses, are just one little part of the big family of complex sentences. All right? I hope I could explain you the relative clauses enough. If you couldn't really understand, or if you want to dive deeper, you can go to Advanced Language Practice Grammar 18, Unit 18. It gives you very good explanation and very good drills for you to understand the difference between relative clauses and other clauses, and the difference between defining and non-defining clauses. Yeah, that's it. Let me stop the screen. All right. Can you change time of the live on YouTube? Sabina, you probably mean you want to change the time of my lessons, which are on 4:30, but I couldn't change that anymore because it's a fixed thing, and if it's already been declared to all schools as 4:30, I couldn't change that. But this stream is recorded, so you can watch it any other time comfortable for you. So that's it for 9th graders too. Apart from masterclass, you have some other books, and by Friday, I will send you the quizzes or any other testing platform questions. See you on Friday. Bye-bye.